Hi everyone, it's Clara and I'm back talking about another board game app implementation, and today I'm going to talk about a deck building card game called Ascension, which I've got really into. So anyone who saw my Dice Tower segment maybe a month or so ago, I said that I never realised how much I enjoyed deck building games. I just hadn't played them enough, but at the start of lockdown, me and my friends started playing a lot of Dominion online. The Dominion website has a really great implementation. There's lots of stuff for free, and it's really reasonable if you want to get all the expansions, and I highly recommend that app. And I really enjoyed Dominion, and I've really played Star Realms, which is another deck builder when I played it in the past. However, I got the app of Ascension on Steam on sale, and I think it's my deck builder. At least until I play Acquisitions Incorporated Clank, which again that's a legacy deck builder, and I think that the story and the IP there will be wicked. But Ascension is the one that I've got at the moment, and it's the one that's an app that I can play. So I played Dominion online a lot, and I did play Star Realms online a lot, and I enjoyed it. But Ascension is the deck builder and the deck builder app, which has really just ticks all the boxes for me. So what I'll do is I'll go into it. I'm not going over the expansions, although I will briefly mention them. But yeah, let's just go to the table, shall we? Okay, so let's get into actually playing this game. How do we do this? Well, with the app, you can set up a new game. You can do it online, which you can't see because it's behind my logo, but you can also set up an offline game. This is great. So you can play against AI. You don't need friends or to play against anonymous internet people. And in this, you can create a game. So with the game, you can choose how many points are available for you to win from. There'll be a pool of victory points that you're trying to gain the most of. And you can choose whether you're playing 1 AI, 2 AI, 3 AI. It's kind of cool, and it's pretty obvious and easy to do. I will say there's also this tutorial. The tutorial is really nice and clean. It takes you through the basic moves of the game and the basic cards in a really nice way, a quick way. You can be up and playing this really quickly, and you don't need to read the rulebook. So I will say that the rules are actually integrated really well. You can access them nice and quickly, and the information's all there. And when it comes to playing expansions, you do need to read those additional rules because each expansion adds something quite unique and different, or most of them do anyway. So they're easily accessible throughout the app, but the tutorial takes you through all the basic games. So that's a really good integration. Now, you can create a game, but I've already set one up, so let's just go with that. I have no idea what's going on here. So there's a lot going on, and the AI will automatically play the other character for you if you've set it up against an AI or the other player. Now, on each of your turn, you draw 5 cards. So you have a deck of cards, which is behind my head, and a discard pile, which is behind my logo, because, of course, planning. And you have 5 cards. Now, at the very beginning, the 5 cards are basic cards that you'll draw, because your initial deck of sort of 12 cards or 10 cards, whatever it is, only includes apprentices and militar. So there's 2 different types of points that you can use. The apprentice, which is one of your basic cards, will give you a recruitment point, and the militar will give you military points. Now, this is actually a slightly upgraded version, so but you've got 2 types of points that you can gain on that go. You're either gaining military or you're gaining recruitment. And so what you do is you get your 5 cards, like say at the beginning, very basic cards, and you play them. You can play them all to the center area, or you can play them in order. Now, I actually have a few more advanced cards here, and these are cards that I've recruited. So I've recruited them from the center. Now, in this particular game, we've just got to the point. These are always drawn from a deck, so it's random. So sometimes you'll have lots of high points and sometimes low points, and there's different types of cards that you can pick up. So you can look at all of these. It works really nicely. You can which one is it? Right click and expand the card. And this one says that this one's a construct, a mechana construct. They all have this type in the middle, and that's important because some work together, a bit like sort of Star Realms. And then, you know, once per turn you can gain a recruitment point. Mechan constructs aren't the best example because these play slightly differently. But so they'll give you an action, so maybe they'll give you recruitment points, or maybe they'll give you military points, maybe they'll allow you to draw more cards. They also give you victory points at the end of the game. This is really important, and I actually didn't realize why I kept on losing games, even though I thought I had the most victory points for a while. The reason being that when you're playing your cards, you'll gain victory points, and especially if you're fighting. So these cards, you can't recruit these to your deck. These are military ones. You fight these. So you're not... Star Realms, you're fighting your opposition and taking life off your opposition. In this, you're fighting cards in the middle of the deck. Which is, I don't know, I kind of like that. I think it's less sort of combative against the person you're playing with. And so some of these will give you victory points automatically. This Earth Tyrant, if you beat it, you automatically gain 5 points. And there's an extra thing as well. You gain 2 cards. That's kind of cool. But what you're doing is you're trying to get points. And these victory points that you gain them from a pool. So in this game, I'd set the start to 60 points. And so each time you score some of these victory points, like this is 3 victory points, that removes from this pool. And so you play until the pool is at 0. Now you might think that if you have the most points, you automatically win the game, but that's not actually true, because once this has gone to 0, and I will say that if you have something, there's 2 points available, but you get a card which will give you, but you beat one of these cards that gives you, say 3 points, you will get 3 points. That's fine. But it just means that there's no more goes after that. But then you also add the points that are in your deck from these cards. So this one's worth 5 points. And I think I showed you the heavy infantry, which I recruited, that's worth 1 point. Now, on top of the 6 cards in the center, there's also these cards at the top, which are always available. So some of them are worth points. So the cultist, you fight it. Cheap to fight, you can always fight it, and it's worth 1 victory point. The heavy infantry and mystic, you can gain those cards, you can recruit those cards, and they'll give you a bonus. They go into your deck, but also victory points at the end. I will say that when you fight something, it goes into the void. This is what this purple swirly thing is. So I'm not going to go into what all the cards do. But I'm going to play a card. In this case, this card means that I've got to get rid of one of my base cards, one of my discard. Like I say, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not really too worried. And I think if I play this, I've got to banish one of my hand cards as well. There's a lot of banishing, but I've gained more cards. So you draw 5, but I've ended up managing to draw more. And then I'm just going to play these cards. Now, if you had a construct, when you play the construct, it actually goes to this area near where my face is, and that gives you an ongoing bonus every round, which is kind of cool. And you can always have that bonus, although what I will say is that your opponent can attack those constructs, but it's not as in your face and aggressive against the other player as it is the center of the pool. Now also what it shows you is that it highlights what you can recruit or what you can fight once you've played your card. So in this case, 2 cards are highlighted in red, which I can fight, and 2 cards are highlighted in green that I can recruit. And you'll see that I've got 4 recruitment points and 4 military points. These don't combine together, they're different, they're separate pools. So I'm going to fight this monster, this tormented soul. This tormented soul gives me a victory point, which is only 1 victory point, but I also get to draw another card, which might help me recruit something else. So I'm going to fight that. Yep, and it's gone into the void, and then another card replaced it straight away. Now, as it happens, I've still only got 4 recruitment points. But I did draw another card, another military, so I've got 2 military points left. So I can fight the cultist in this case because there's nothing else in the center that I can beat. So that gave me an extra point. Brilliant. And you saw that I drew these every time I gained these points by sending cards to the void. They removed themselves from this central, this collective group of victory points. That's what you're getting them from. And now I can also recruit. Now I can't recruit any of these things because these are too expensive. One's 5, one's 7, and I only have 4. So I can recruit, I don't know, let's recruit 2 heavy military. And so any cards that you recruit, so the fighting, they go in the void. The recruitment, they go in your discard pile. And then once you've used up your deck, you shuffle your discard and that becomes your deck again. So I still have 2 victory points left now. If I only had one recruitment point left, if I only had 1 left, I wouldn't be able to do anything with that. Or say I still had a military point here, and you just have to end your turn. However, I've got 2 recruitment points, and I can still recruit one of the basic actions. So, boom, I've recruited another heavy infantry. It's an extra point in my deck, and now I can end my turn. And then you redraw up to 5 cards in your hand, and then the opponent will do their thing. If there's 3 or 4 opponents, they'll do their thing. So once again, like I say, you can choose which order you play the cards, or you can play them in a particular order. Now, I said about a construct, and one got drawn to my hand, which is cool. So if I play this, you'll see that it went to the bottom part of the screen, and then I get this every time I play. And here it says, if you play a Lifebound hero, you gain a victory point. So that's relating to this little bit of text in the middle. Do I have a Lifebound hero? Yes, I do. So when I play this, because of my construct, I'll also get that bonus. So I got an extra 2 victory points because of this. Sometimes you'll have an action on your construct that you can choose to take, and so you've got to remember to do that. So I'm going to play another card. Don't know what this does. Oh, acquire a hero without paying its cost, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, these constructs don't count as heroes, so I can only draw from these. Yay, not great. And then I've got 1 victory point and 3 recruitment points. So let's recruit a mystic. And like I say, with this military point, 1 military point, I can't fight anything. So I've just got to give up that point and end my turn. And that is a kind of overview of the basic rules. It's really good fun. What I will say, there's a tutorial. The tutorial works really well. It shows you how to play the game without having to read the rules. If you buy the expansions, and I've got all the expansions, and the expansions really do add something different. Like, a lot of them really add something unique. Some of them I like more than others. I'm not going into that. But those, you will have to read the rules on how to play them. The actual app itself is beautiful. It's a beautiful implementation. This is a Steam game. Steam app, and it just plays really well. I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. Like I said, I've been playing it quite a lot. There's a couple of expansion decks that I throw in there that really change up the game, and I just really enjoy playing it. I like the way you're, rather than trying to kill your opponent, you're trying to kill the monsters in the middle and recruit, and you're fighting for victory points. You know, you're fighting for this pool of victory points. I like that. It's just rather than sort of taking away the energy of your enemies, you're sort of playing your own game. But there is some interaction, like some of your hero cards might mean that your opponent has to banish a card or get rid of a construct or discard cards. So there is player interaction, but most of that is, oh no, I want this card in the center, and then you beat it or you take it, and the opponent's like, no, I wanted that card. So that's where most of the interaction comes. It's just really good fun. I mostly play it 2-player, but played it 3 and 4-player a few times. It moves along quite quickly, and like I said, the app, it looks beautiful. It moves. It's really clear. Quite a busy board, but for me, it works. I think I can see everything, and it generally asks you to confirm everything, so you don't do anything stupid. The only thing is when you're clicking on buy cards, you can sort of buy a card instead of looking at it, but that's just something you get used to. And you can actually highlight all the cards. If you click on them, you can make them bigger. So it's really good. It's a good implementation, and it's a really fun game. So I would definitely recommend it. And that's my review of Ascension, the board game app, base game. Really good fun. See you soon. Bye.